Good morning. It's another video of Simply Cooking. Today I am going to create a soup that we call borscht. It's essentially a vegetable soup. I have filled my pot half full of water. I turned it on high heat and I put a teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, a teaspoon, and bringing it to a boil. And whilst I'm waiting for my water to boil, I chop my vegetables. Here, once again, is my base vegetables, my trio of vegetables I always have on hand: potatoes, carrots, and squash. But today in my borscht, I am going to put cabbage and some parsley. There's an Italian parsley and just a regular parsley, and a can of drained garbanzo beans, and a can of tomato sauce. This is a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. My potatoes have a little bit of bruising or ugly brown that I will not be cooking. I will cut that out and then I will shred them. I have 2 russet potatoes and 1 Yukon Gold. So I have chopped up my potatoes, peeled and washed, except for the Yukon Gold. You don't always have to peel that if you don't want, it's preference. I've shredded my carrot and I've shredded the zucchini. Now I have chopped the cabbage into kind of like a coleslaw consistency. And that's all you need is the potato, carrot, zucchini, cabbage, garbanzo beans, and tomato sauce. But today I am going to change up the flavor and use some parsley. And here's a little tip: if you don't want to spend your time to chop up fresh vegetables, you can just grab a bag of mixed vegetables. It's going to have a little bit different flavor because it has green beans in there and some corn. You can always add the potato, but that's a quick tip. Also, I have a sister who is allergic to carrots, so a lot of times I make my borscht with a red bell pepper. And the reason being is because carrots are sweet and red bell peppers are sweet. So that's a good trade out. Also, we will be using our basis of our seasonings. They're usually the same I use. The Lawry's for salt, my 21 seasoning, but it has carrot in it. So if I was making this for my sister, I would take out the 21 seasoning and I would use the McCormick's Montreal steak. This is my favorite bouillon from Sprouts, Garden Veggie. Okay, so I'm going to throw my bouillon cube in. And the water was boiling, I had to turn it off. Couple of shakes of Lawry's, a couple of shakes of minced onions. I am putting in 2 bay leaves and a couple of shakes of 21 seasoning and some dried dill, like probably a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Add your vegetables to your boiling water. And usually when I'm doing this, as I chop my vegetable, my water will be boiling. I would throw it in. But for video's sake, I chopped all the vegetables so you could see them. So I'm just going to throw them all in. Potatoes, zucchini, carrots. And it seems like it's, getting a lot, but remember, vegetables always reduce. That means they get smaller. And then I'll throw in my can of garbanzo beans and my can of tomato sauce. Okay, once you have all your vegetables in, and you want to give it a good stir. And you can cook this. It will be ready in a half an hour from the time it begins to boil again. Once it starts boiling, you want to reduce the heat and simmer it. And after a half an hour, 30 minutes, it is ready. Or you can continue to boil it for a couple of hours. My soup usually stays on the sink, on the oven all day, just because my son likes to eat it for breakfast, and I'll have it for lunch. One last ingredient that I like to put in is an avocado oil. It kind of gives it a fullness, flavor, and a little bit of added extra consistency that is really delicious once this is all cooked down. It's your fat content because everything is so no fat in here. Everything is lean. Alrighty, we'll look at it once it's been cooked. Okay, so now it's come to a boil. I am going to reduce the heat down. You'll watch it slow down. Make it a low heat. Could probably even go a little bit lower. Okay, so now that it's boiling, I am going to cover it, but I'm not going to close it. I'm going to leave a little bit of a vent so not all the water will evaporate, but if you close it, it will boil over.